Is this love real? Don't know how to feel. I've been waiting on you, babe.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I am very excited tonight because I get to talk to a brother who I've known for quite some time. Somebody who I think is a more complex study than we often get a chance to see. Not just a comedian, because I think that comedians are really some of the smartest cats you're going to ever meet. Like straight up, when we think of smart people, some people look at people who are educated. Some people look at individuals who come from different parts of education, or the doctors or lawyers or what have you. But I actually think the comedians are some of the smartest cats because they have to look at the world from a lot of different perspectives. And this particular comedian is a comedian that comedians respect. He's somebody who, if you know comedy and you know comedians, they'll be the first to tell you that this is a brother who all of us respect, not just because of his comedy, but because of his business acumen. He's actually a cat who owned comedy clubs to put himself in comedy, which is one way to do it, right? If they don't put you on stage, by the damn stage. Please join me and welcome my main man, my brother, Earthquake. Like we say, like earthquake. Earthquake.
Hey, Doc. How you doing, man? I'm loving that art you got back there, man. I got to get some of that.
So look, let me tell you a quick story about this. You may not want to get this because this actually got a guy married. So I don't know if that's where you're going, but this.
I can do that. Yeah, I can do
that. Okay,
you
can do it. Okay, bet. So in this case, the brother's name is Andre, and Andre had he sold us a painting, and then I saw on the site I bought this one. And sometimes when you start doing a little bit better, you don't always look at the price as fast as you should.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I love that. He said, I'll bring it to your house, Doc. I want you to have one of my paintings. I'll bring it to your house. I'm like, word, you bring it to my house like that now?
Right.
Like, okay, bring it to my house. Come kind of thing. I grew up with nothing. So like an artist gonna bring a painting to my house. And I was like, so how much is it? He told me, and I was like, oh, I thought that was a period. That's a comma.
Yeah.
So he got married.
Yeah, I think you need to go ahead and take this painting out of my house. My fault. or at least let me put it in layaway and I get it out.
Can I do it in installments? So what have you been up to, my man?
Man, I'm just on vacation in Vegas. Excuse me. End of the year, thanking God for a great, one of the best years of my career. My game, the way I do it is so mental. So just giving my brain a rest for about 4 or 5 days and being ready for 2022. If God gives me the privilege to be there to do even bigger things. So, I usually don't do no work during this time, but when a doctor calls you, you got to take a call.
I appreciate
so
that.
That's it, man. I love you, brother. I love you, man.
It means a lot to me that you do, and you know that it is. I love you as well. What made this year so big for you?
Well, I got the #1 radio show on Sirius XM, Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud. It's called Quake House. Dave Chappelle produced my Netflix special that we put in the can. I got my first lead in a movie, a leading role with me and Darlene Rollins. I'm in 4 TV shows, and I'm developing my own TV show for CBS as we speak. And I finally found my soulmate that made me a better man. So that's when you said, don't worry about that paint. If that painting it can get you married, I said, don't worry, I need it then.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, so I found what I was looking for. And it's just been a great fucking year, brother, to be quite honest with you. And I know my God and I know me. He has so much planned for me for 2022 because I've been with myself longer than anybody. And I know when it's my turn. So I'm looking forward to it.
And amidst all that, you found your soulmate. It would seem to me that in that space, when you're so into the work, so many people say they're married to the work. They ain't got time to bring anybody into this space. How was it that you were able to do that during this time?
Well, that is true. You have to find somebody that doesn't interrupt your work ethic. The way you define that she's your soulmate when she enhanced your work ethic. When everything about her is a plus. I tell them all the time that, the definition of a good woman for me is she make you a better man. I used to always tell my friends, I'm never gonna make it until I find I'm one good woman, one good black woman. Let me make sure I speak that from making it. So, I knew I wasn't never gonna reach my potential until I had that female aspect in my life that gave me that female persuasion that looked out for me, everything. So it wasn't surprise. I knew who she was. I knew what she was. I just never knew who she was. And she finally showed up who she was. So it
when
was never a problem with my work.
when so you didn't find work-life balance, you found work-life alignment, is what you're saying.
Exactly. It wasn't a balance, it was alignment. She didn't have to balance me. She was more of a align with me and enhance me. She gave me the female aspect that I have been missing and things that you can't get when you just have associates or girlfriends or side or when you're not into it. And with that, it just propelled me with that last piece for me to continue to get where I'm at.
Oprah asked uh, Dr. Betty Shabazz, how is it that you got Malcolm to settle down? And Dr. Shabazz said, I didn't get him to settle down. I met a man who was ready. And every woman should meet a man who's ready. Are you ready?
I've been ready, but they had to fit the qualifications of who and the necessary ingredients for me. I tell women that I dated for a long time, "What's nothing wrong with you? You're a great woman. You just wasn't my woman." You know what I mean? And that's no dispersion against any woman I dated. The objective of the mission is miss right, not miss almost right. I don't I don't I don't settle. I don't compromise. And being in the military for 9 years, you can't complete the mission without the necessary tools to do it. And so for knowing that, you know, I had a lot of women that was close, but this ain't horseshoes.
You have taken a path that suffice to say, about hard a way to go as there is. You make people laugh. And in order to make people laugh, you have to connect to something inside them that they have wanted to say. Talk to me about that process.
Well, being a comedian, I tell them it's the hardest job in the world. I look at rappers and I envy their genre compared to us. As a comedian, you have to come up with new material each time. Jay-Z still eating off his first album. He can go up there. Nobody want to hear my first joke, even if they laugh at it
At all, right?
at all. And I got to make people do something that they can't make themselves do. And that's laugh. You can listen to music while I'm talking to you. You can listen to music when you're distracted. For me to make you laugh, I need your undivided attention. Then I must also overcome all the distractions and preoccupations and everything you have to let all that go and baby to bring you into this world and let you capture this and make it funny. It's a daunting task. But for those that's blessed enough to have that talent, it's the most gratifying because I personally say we're healed just like they're like medicine. There's no better feeling that when you're laughing. You ask you ask anybody, the best time they ever had in their life when they with their friends and they're having a good time and they laughing all night long. That carries you. I'm able to be your friend and take you there just for what I utter through a microphone to make you feel that we've been friends forever because I'm able to build a picture fictitiously and put you there and it resonate with you and we can laugh about it like we've been friends forever. And that's a gift.
You though get deep into your personal life, or at least give us the impression that you do.
True, it is my personal life though. Yes, it
Okay,
is.
so some people can't even tell their mother or their cousins or even their spouse about really some of those difficult parts of their life. What is it that you go through that makes it possible for you to get there?
The reason I can talk about my personal life on stage and anything else because of my faith. Because the person who matters most to me already knows. That's God. So I really don't care what y'all know or what y'all care or what your opinion about it. Because opinion, I have what people opinion is, I even have the opinion to care or don't give a fuck. And I really don't give a fuck. Because the person who really matters to me knows. So that's God. So if you know, I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
And then I
So we
also
can
free
like
you from any relationship because now your lady, she can what is there for her to discover, right? You don't told her.
she already know even by stage or me testifying to her and that openness to her, and the right woman embrace that openness. They're not afraid of it. They don't sit here and say, don't say that, or he embarrassed, or it's not a reflection on her. You know what I mean? So that goes back to being with the right one. The right one understands he's just doing, that's his therapeutic. That's my therapy. I can either lay on the couch and pay somebody $100, $200 an hour and tell them my problems, or I could stand on the stage and pick up 40,000 and tell them my problems, and we laugh about it.
I'm gonna
I
go
rather the
plan.
latter. I
I'm gonna
rather the
go plan
latter.
B on that one too. I'm gonna go plan B on that. Who do you watch now? And when you watching them, you really ain't laughing. You just thinking, I gotta get back to work. I gotta get back in the lab.
See, I don't watch any other comedians because my process of how I come up with my comedy doesn't allow me to do that. And the reason that is I don't physically write. What I do is I come up with a subject that's based on truth and I elaborate on it. It's like a big lie, just like the Trump shit. It's like the election was stolen and then they stole it. You really think it was stolen. Then you say it was stolen in Detroit and the lie just get bigger and bigger and you just elaborate on to it. It's to a hell of a lie. So the reason I don't listen to or watch other comedians, I don't want to contaminate my thoughts and lie in my subconscious. And then I come up with something and I really think I really came up with it. And really, in actuality, I heard another comedian say it. So the best way to keep my thoughts in it clear and keep it sterilized and not contaminated, I don't watch other comedians. Now, don't get me wrong. My peers such Dave, Kev, Sad, Eddie, all of them great comedians. And when I get a chance to see them and we're working together, I do pay attention to their work and be like, okay, there is. But actually watching them and getting pointers from them, I don't have the privilege of able to do that because of the way I have to formulate my jokes.
You remind me a lot in the hip hop genre of Tribe Called Quest and a lot of the other groups that people who love hip hop always have to acknowledge. When people talk about comedy, they always have to go, they drop their top 5, they drop their top 10. You're always in there. But it isn't until recently, I don't know if it's mainstream, that mainstream, I don't know, discovered you kind of like Columbus discovered America.
True
What do you
that.
think? What do you think it changed?
Um, Again, God's timing. I now that it is, I say it right now, and I say it in my act. I said, I've always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. I have always seen my friends get, only thing separate me from my peers are opportunities that they're cashed in on. I hadn't had those opportunities, they didn't have, so there was no way for me to cash in on it. So I had to stay true to the ground roots of just, people such as you, see me one time and like, damn, that boy funny than this, and this. This is my man, and you tell somebody, and somebody tells them, and then they come in and gather to that point. I think timing is everything. And now that it is what I say, to be quite honest with you, they finally getting to the E's. They're getting to my name. You in DMV, you pull D4 and you sit
Well,
down.
they did the C's, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Okay,
You
okay,
be
not
like,
okay.
hey, man, I got B4. How you go to C8? B4. And then they J9. Now I know my alphabet.
Because you see some
C4.
H's, you see some
Yeah,
H's go. There have been a couple
yeah.
H's that go.
You like, come on now, when they gonna get to the E's? You know what I mean? But you sit in the way and you wait on your own. and you sit there, but you understand the dynamics of what you in. And what I mean by that is, what I do is subjective. What's funny to one person ain't funny to another person. And I used the way to be able to deal with it is that apparently I haven't made the right person laugh yet for me to get that opportunity that the rest of them getting. So I never was envy of my peers. I never wanted to beat them because I knew everything they obtained was because of who they are. So I don't, because they stars, because Kevin can only be Kevin, Dave can only be Dave, Chris Rock can be only Chris Rock. There's no use of me trying to beat them because that still ain't gonna get me what they got because they got theirs before their individuality. So the best I can do is be the best I can be and just hope they finally get to the ease.
When I
And that's
met
where it's at.
when I met Bishop Jakes, he said, "I want to let you know that I'm not a jealous man." He said, "I believe in God," and he said that when you get what's coming to you, that's evidence that He's working, and I know what's coming to me is coming. So I ain't got to worry about it because that wasn't for me. So it sounds like for you, similar to way Jake sees it as, you know that you can only be you, and as such, ain't no sense of worrying about somebody else, what makes them shit. You ate what you eat, and it's gonna come out of you the way it's supposed to come out.
Exactly. And the result it is, and it's all in God's time. You can't take part of God's teaching and just only apply the parts that you want for you to deal with what you want to deal with. I mean, bro, I'm from Southeast DC. Even if I don't get no farther than I am right now, I have already exceeded my expectations for myself, and so has my parents. I can't forget that where I was. So I'm always thankful that God picked me out of all the other brothers that was on the street that went through a public school, unlike the one that you mentor, but the ones that didn't have people that really invested in education. I used to tell a joke. I went to my 25th anniversary of my high school. My teacher was like, "We're so proud of you." I like, "Bitch, you ain't help. You pushed me through." And I wasn't even an athlete. I can't help my son with none of his homework or nothing. There was no reason I supposed to got out this school with this type of education. Had God not gave me a talent, I'd be at this motherfucker with a minuscule job, probably strung out, because you didn't give me the necessary tools to be able to compete out here in this world. And now that I done found a way outside of your tutelage, you gonna take credit? Get the fuck out of here.
And how many times do you think she told the story of how you were in her class and she knew you were gonna be something?
Yeah. Yeah, many a times using me as a poster child. And I was like, you didn't do a damn thing at all. I mean,
Matter of
none.
fact, she worked against you. Matter of fact, she might have done some stuff that made it harder for you.
Hell yeah, she was smoking weed with me. So, you know what I mean? We had the horseshoes in Baloo. Anybody that went to Baloo would tell you, it's called the horseshoe. We used to sit in there and smoke her. She'd hit it going a couple times, say, all right, don't be too late. Now I'm looking back, I like, you domestic terrorist. You goddamn domestic terrorist. So, yeah.
How do you
So,
make it out? I mean, how do you, because you know you are one of the ones who did, as the song goes, how did you make it? Because what's supposed to happen? Like, the data would say, this a wrap for Quake.
Well, I did something that I suggest a lot of brothers to do, especially minorities. If you don't, I went and found a good job in the military. Now, in the one I did, I joined in the Air Force. I went down to the recruiter's office, and they had all of them. They had the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. I said, which one of these people, which one of these branches of service closer to civilian than any other rest of them? I ain't trying to fight no front line. I ain't trying to do none of that shit. Which one of these ones? So they said, I found out the Air Force only run a mile once a year. I said, sign me up. So I went in the Air Force and I passed the test, and I could have been an air traffic controller, but it took 9 months to go to tech school for opening. I said, give me the job I can leave today. And they said, loading bombs. I said, I'll take it. And that's
Now
what I
you
did, man.
loaded actual nuclear bombs.
Yes, nuclear bombs on F-50. I load nuclear bombs on B-52s. I load AIM-9s, AIM-7s, chaffing flares on F-15s, F-4s, F-16, AMRAAM missiles. I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, Barksdale Air Force Base. I dropped the nuke in Barksdale Air Force Base,
You
trying to see
physically dropped one.
trying to get to the Two Live Crew concert to see Luke with them 150 chicks, man. They was coming to Bossier City. And I told him I had something to do, and he gonna tell me to go out there and swap the missile out. And I said, hell with the checklist, and did it off of memory and skipped a couple of steps, and it fell out to Bombay. And I was mad as shit. Yeah.
It physically fell. The actual nuclear.
It physically fell, hit the ground. Everybody ran. I said, what you
Like
running
running
for?
was
That's
gonna
the
save
new,
him.
yeah.
Like, running ain't gonna get you where you need to be when this goes off.
Hey, you can be Usain Bolt. You ain't out running that boat. You understand?
Nah.
I just sat down, smoked a cigarette, and said, I guess I ain't gonna get to see Luke tonight. You know what I mean? So it's called a broken arrow. The base commander came and they took us to the hospital to do all kind of drug testing and everything. I wasn't on no drugs. They just found incompetence in my blood, and they just
I need
put
that
me on.
test because I got a couple people I want to run it past.
Yeah, they did the test on it, and they didn't let me touch no more missiles ever. I was in the snack bar, just passing out coffee to the troops. So I was cool with that too.
Giving out sticky buns.
Giving out sticky buns.
Now you gotta know, because you've seen a lot of cats do what you do, and there are a lot of people would say were funny, and they were in the same dark clubs that you were in, but they're not doing this anymore at all. What separated you?
I never broke up with her. Comedy is like a good woman, especially a good black woman.
Mm-hmm.
You can take a couple of days off of her, but you can never leave and think you're gonna come back to her, because it's never gonna be the same. If you notice any stars, when the jokes elevate them to TV and movies, they abandon comedy and they try to come back. It's futile. It doesn't work because you can't leave it. It's a muscle you must always nurture. It's a muscle that you must always work on. And the true ones never leave it, no longer how large you get. And then to be honest with you, you have to stay within the people you're telling jokes to. You can't separate yourself from your constituents and give them a perspective from your standard of living, and then, in my humble words, give them a ministry from your standard of living to your congregation that's living a different one. You must stay in it. You must stay a part of it. So I keep ignorant motherfuckers around me. I hang with people that's, my friends are trying to make it, going through tough times, dealing with the front lines that our people go through. So I thank God for everything he gives me. I still stay in the circle of people that hasn't been blessed as I have. And I appreciate and I pay attention what they go through, and I translate it, as if it was me.
When did you feel like you made it? What happened?
Well, it was 2 points. One, I knew I could do this because, see, this was just the best decision that day. I got out the military because the war broke out, and I said I don't mind practicing for war, but y'all fighting for real. I just joined this military to get out of my mother house. I could have stayed at home to get shot at. I don't mind practicing. So when they start fighting, the Taliban, going over there, I was like, no, this is what I'm doing.
Because those cats is fighting for real. They're not. This is not slap boxing. They really mean it.
They mean it. I'm new addition. You can go on to count me out. So I got out, and I didn't want to go back to DC where I'm from, because That's just asking to be in illegal pharmaceuticals.
Right.
So I watched on CNN and it said that the best place for young black men who has the best time is to go to Atlanta. So I went to Atlanta and I took this girl to a comedy club and she was laughing. I mean, hysterical. And I was like, if you want to sleep with the dude, just say you want to fuck him. You ain't got to. But he ain't. It's all funny. You all underneath the chair. Just go up there and say you want to be with him. She was like, well, if you think you just jealous, you think you can do better than him. I said, I don't know if I could do. I'm better than him, but I know that ain't the funniest thing I ever heard. You act like this the funniest thing you ever heard. So she challenged me, and I went up and I tried it, and they gave me $500 for winning the contest the first time, and I was on unemployment from the military. I was like, $500. Ain't no sense in me looking for no job. So I just kept on doing it. And nothing better came along. And after I continued to do it, I ran into Steve Harvey and we talked to it. And I was writing jokes, and he was like, man, what you doing? I said, I'm writing jokes. He said, you don't have to write. Yours come out already ready. Write it for everybody else. You have that gift. And once he turned me on to that and I shown what it was already, I knew I had made it. I knew at that point I could sustain at least a standard of living off of this. And that's how I started.
You understand this, as it goes better than anybody. It's not the big shows that make people. It's all those little podunk shows where,
Mm.
you know, you got the bartender, the waitress, and the security are all the same person. Just a
True.
big, gigantic sister who will break your arm. You're in those shows to get yourself together. A lot of people think about their dreams, but they don't think about the process of that dream coming true. Talk about going from those gigs one to the other on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday. What is that experience like?
Well, that's the foundation. You know what I mean? The foundation, Steve Harvey said, the dream is free. The process is the fee. This is what it costs. Everybody wants to see the end results, but nobody wants to see the process. The process is the most beautiful part of it because, to be quite honest with you, people say it all the time, man. There's never going to be no one there for you until you prove you are what it is. You're not going to get no cheering. Ain't nobody going to support you until you finish the process. The process is not only for you, it also gives you the confidence that you belong. Most stars that make it too quick crumble because they don't have the foundation of the process in them. It was given to them, so they have nothing to fall back on. They have nothing to say, man, I remember when it was just me, the bartender, security guard, and the manager. They was all the same people. And I made all three of them give me a standing O. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's that carries you. So you walking in there, if I can do this with one person being three person and kill each one of them that occupy that same person, I know I can get you 3,000 people who, came to see me. So it's the process, the most beautiful thing in the world, and it's the hardest part in the world. But you got to understand, it's the most loneliest because only you can do it. Can't everybody can give you support for it, everybody can give you cheer for it, but it's a lonely road. It's that, like God said, there's only one set of footprints on that beach.
There are so many people who talk about what they want to be, but they don't understand that what they want to be is on the other side of what it is that they don't want to do. Right? Talk about some of the things that you've had to do, whether they be events or what have you, that you just woke up and said, I'm just not doing this today. It's just not it.
Well, the sacrifices are enormous. Just, from not being at none of your kids' events to not celebrating anything personally you want to do, birthdays, anniversaries, going to a game, because you are the entertainer. Then the things you don't want to do, you must sit down and ask, what are you, my my decision making, can I live with the decision I make? Does this fall in line with my character? Does it fall along with my morals? If those two things are not compromised, if the money right, Quake there every night. If the if the, if it ain't got nothing to do with my morals, it ain't got nothing to do with my character. If the money right, Quake there every night.
Right.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
look, if they spinning on the poles around you, as long as they're laughing up in front of you, you doing what you're
Hey,
doing.
I do a show for the clan, as long as they let me go. And sheets are optional. You hear me? I'm saying. Now you might not like my set, but goddamn it, if you give me the fee, I'm gonna be there, baby.
You'll make somebody laugh.
I'm gonna make one of them laugh that they're gonna take the hood off.
You are among the more political comics out now, right? You're somebody who your Instagram presence is massive, and it's funny to watch. A lot of times I see stuff that you post on Instagram, and I only see it because somebody else posted it. And I'm like, this dude is like the source material. What are you looking for when you're seeing pieces that you put out there?
I'm looking for things that for you to say, damn, really? And then the other one encourage you, it's just not you. Also, you think you got it bad. Look at this. And then more than anything, the hypocrisy of what's going on in this country. And especially from a black man's point of view. And I want to keep on just educating my people that we're dealing with hypocrites across the line. So you should not be so hard on yourself when the people who have so much are hypocrites. You have a reason to be upset. You have a reason to be discouraged, hopeless. Look at these people that had everything, still complaining. That's why I told them that, Get Out was a comedy to me. And I was in there watching the movie, laughing my ass off.
That's
And
hilarious.
I said, because there's no white man ever, ever, ever will give up his privilege of whiteness to take this black cover, this black skin, to live one more day in this country as a black man without his privilege. He would rather die first.
That's one of the things that I really respect about your perspective politically, because I don't see you cozying up to either side. I see
No,
you looking at it and calling balls and strikes. It's silly to think that there's any. Sorry, it's my phone. It's silly to think that there's going to be anything that anyone is going to do to give up their privilege, right? It's not going to happen.
never.
And one of the things that I see in the work that I get a chance to do is there are people who call themselves our friends. And they will say, I just want to see everyone be successful. You don't. You don't. Because in order for that to happen, I spoke one time at a college, and they had me there for diversity. And I said, I don't think y'all brought the right person. Because if you believe like I believe, you believe there's such a thing as an unearned disadvantage, then you got to believe there's an unearned advantage, which would mean that one of y'all ain't supposed to be here.
Right.
And you sitting in somebody else's seat right now. And so if you really about that life, get up. And you often call out our friends, call out people who everybody else is like, nah, that's one of the good guys. And you're like, man, they all right.
Yeah.
What's the reason why you have the courage and capacity to do that?
I mean, to me, to be honest with you, it's just human nature. I mean, I'm simplicity is my strongest attribute because I go from the ground up. And I put it this way, you never see on ladies' night a pretty chick advocating for an ugly chick not to stand in line. She don't give up her privilege. She walking in this lady now. She's like, nah, if you don't let that fat chick with the ugly come in, I'm not going in. She's not gonna give it up. You know what I mean? So it's everyone. No one wants to give up their privilege. They could tell it all. They be all out there all day long. Yeah, women rights, but they will take that free drink
all day.
take that free drink all day long. And the chick who ain't get no drink, she not gonna sit there and turn hers back in because the other chick didn't get a free drink. So when you know that, you understand this is what it is. So when you present yourself as that, then I look at your history and see, have you been doing this your whole life, or you just jumped on what's hot right now, you know? And if you did that right now, I'm gonna call you out. Now, I will say I'm glad to see you finally here, and let's see where you go from here on. But I'm not gonna act like you've been in this wagon this whole motherfucking time when you just picked it up when it turned the corner.
And now we're at a time where a joke ain't a joke. I watched the Chappelle special, the most recent one, and I listened to him talk about the issue of transgender, and I thought, y'all ain't gonna come at him for this. I watched it the night it dropped. Right. I clearly wasn't there. I watched the night it dropped, and I thought, this ain't really gonna be a thing. But then it was. Do you think he handled the situation well?
I think he handled it the only way he could have. I mean, Dave is one of the. See, what people don't understand about Dave Chappelle is our LeBron James.
Who is he?
No, I'm just saying he has been labeled as the chosen one from day one. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
He had more deals, more. Dave Chappelle has been destined this forever. So you can't, it was just his turn. You can't bully him. He's an individual and he has his individual thoughts. And if you come at him, he's not going to back down because he know he's not coming from a place of hatred. He know this is just his opinion. And who in the hell, no matter who you are, who are you to say that he doesn't have the right to have this opinion and put it in the platform that he's doing? He's not a senator. He's not your pastor. He's a comedian, origin of a clown. And I personally speaking, if you allow a clown to offend you, it's more an indictment of you than it is of him. You can't go to the circus saying, I'd be damned if that little midget didn't throw some confetti on me. That's assault. You at a circus. So, you know, he handled it well and he was speaking for all of us, and at some point I still say the majority of fair-minded people saw it as that. But nowadays, I forgot somebody said it, and I think is a lot of people, he said, certain people are born just to look out in the world, to look for grievances to be offended by. And what Facebook and social media is able to do is now they can find these grievances and now share it with the world.
When I watched it, excuse me, it reminded me of being, I don't know, like 12, when my uncle used to leave his Richard Pryor albums out, and I'd be staying at my grandmother's house.
Right.
And we would wait up till my grandmother go to sleep. And then we would go in there and put the record on and turn it down real low, so low you almost had to put your ear to the record itself.
Right.
And hear him and think, he ain't supposed to say that, but that is so funny. Like what he just said is so piercingly accurate. The creative part of me watches him work, watches you work. I remember when you were up in Hartford, I watched you at the Bushnell, And not from a place of jealousy, but from a place of inspiration. I kept thinking, damn, how did he, like, where did he come up with that? And throughout your set, I kept thinking, this doesn't make any sense. Like, where is he coming up with this? Where are you seeing this piercing insight? When you're watching people, are you watching them through a particular gauze where you're trying to get a sense, you're trying to look for an angle, or does it just come naturally to you?
It comes natural, and I really watch everything to see. Everybody watch. I don't watch things that confirm my views.
Okay.
I watch things that oppose my views. So I watch a lot of Fox. I watch online. I get the tags of all of it. Let me see your point of view. Let me hear your point of view. And if you truly believe this, then we can have an honest debate. But if I see hypocrisy with it, then I'm gonna call you out on it. And you're no different than a snake oil salesman from my neighborhood to your neighborhood. And I'm gonna call you out on it. And then what I do is I put both of those philosophies or ideologies together, and then that's how I come up with the conclusion.
You have the opportunity as a comedian to say that, hey, these are just jokes. But the rest of us are still in the same space where the simplest thing, 147 characters, can be taken to a place that doesn't make any sense. Have you put anything out? Have you said anything that has come back that you just thought, damn, I didn't think that was going to end that way?
No, because one thing about me, because my jokes are thought driven, I can always articulate it what my thoughts are.
Okay.
And then where it came from. So you either agree or we agree that we disagree, but was nothing malicious about it. And when you try to take it down that way, the first thing I ask you is, then this doesn't apply to you, but you cannot say it does not exist.
Right. Right. One of the things I've seen is I've seen a shift in the way in which people interact. I feel like many white people have watched Black people occupy the position of the victim, have seen African Americans suffer through circumstances. And Black people are so good at setting trends that we actually make being the victim of a society that is focused all of its weapons on us. Make it look cool. We make it look like it's halfway fun. You give us a hog, but you only give us chitlins. We find a way to still eat it. So, in the most recent iteration of some of the social issues, one of the things I see are groups of white people trying to find a way to establish a parody of their status as a victim. Like, it's almost like being Black. It's not. Because anything that you put Black on gets worse. A woman, got it. A Black woman, now that's a different thing. A homosexual, got it. A Black homosexual, that's a whole different thing. What do you think got us here, where there seems to be this interest in what I'm calling a leveling of who's got it the worst, or we all got it the same?
That's a great question, Doc. And you know what it is? Personally speaking, it's the white man that got left behind. It's the white man. No, because we 22, 23, I don't know, but $23 trillion in the hole. 23 trillion. Now, I don't know who got that goddamn money, but I know who didn't get it.
Say this, because you saying something now, brother.
Yeah, it's 23 trillion. Somebody robbed the motherfucking bank for $23 trillion. I know who didn't got it. I know who didn't get it, and it didn't look like me. That being said, the standard of living now, that the pressure is coming on my Caucasian brothers and sisters for the standard of living cannot be camouflaged no more because of social media. Their kids wanted this and everything too. So now it even it's so rampant that it always go down to Roe versus Wade. I need y'all to stop having abortions, white women, because they're catching up on the population. And the white women like, I don't mind having your baby, Frankie, but you ain't making enough money. I'm not gonna have your baby and go out here and work and raise your kids. It used to be have your baby, I could stay at home, raise them. You made enough money as the insurance, everything, but you ain't making enough because they want PlayStation 2, they want Jordan, and that little job you got ain't enough. Well, that's because all the Mexicans are taking the goddamn jobs and they giving it all through the niggas, and the white man ain't got nothing no more, and they left the good white man behind. God damn it. God damn it. If they stop letting these goddamn Mexicans come over the goddamn thing, take good things, bring it down, the wages down, I have better money, take care of you now. Well, until you get some more money, I'm not having your goddamn baby, and I'm gonna sit down here because I gotta go work 12 hours to get with the kids we got. I ain't having no more. Don't you know these niggas are catching up on us? This gonna be a black country. Now have these goddamn babies. So, I tell white people all the time, I'm surprised that I know your great-grandfathers are raised. I have never heard so many white men complain in my motherfucking life. I know your grandfather in there. What happened to my... These are the softest white men. You let Chinese talk to us any kind of way. Russians will talk to us any kind of way. You ain't never like your great-grandfather. Ashamed of you. I'm fucking ashamed of you. So the pressure leading up to pulling up from your bootstraps was just shit they gave to black people to say you ain't working hard enough, you too can have it, when they had a built-in advantage. Now that advantage is gone and they hadn't had to compete. And so back to with the foundation, never had to work hard, just took credit for the population of white people, and your dumb ass ain't getting nothing but a high school education. You got jobs because your grandfather worked at the plant, and they gave you a good ass job at the plant. Now the plant gone and your grandfather, you have to actually open up a one app and put your qualification on it. And a good white man can't get a good job just with a high school education. God damn it, our country is going to hell in a handbasket.
Mike, drop. You are.
That's what's happening, my brother.
God.
That's why they're crying out this motherfucker. That's why they're sitting down here giving you culture wars. And one more thing for us, they're not wanting to teach our kids or keep kids slavery, talking about making them feel guilty for being white. I have one question for y'all. If this is what it's going to be, and maybe you could tell me, when will Sodom bin Laden kids, grandkids, stop having to hearing about his misdeeds? When do he say, God damn it, you're making my kids feel good? When do I no longer hear about these two buildings and shit? My great grandkids. When do the Japanese gotta come here about Pearl Harbor? When do their kids don't have to feel that guilt no more? I just want to know, because if we bring up your great grandfathers for they raping and privilege, it's making your kids feel bad being white. I get that. So when are you gonna stop? I'm just asking for a friend. I'm not Muslim, but I'm just asking for a friend. He want to know when he got to hear about him. When are y'all gonna cut off hearing about Sodom bin Laden and their kids when they don't want to hear no more about that shit from 9/11?
Oh my God. Oh my God. On February 18th, Earthquake is gonna be back on the road in Bridgeport, Connecticut, right where we got one of our schools, actually right behind our school. That just shows where we gotta be. We in the hood like that. So you're gonna be around the corner, brother, from us. I cannot thank you enough for being you. God knows if anybody did not know who Earthquake was, you understand why his piercing insight is what it is. Tell everybody when your special is going to drop and the other things that are coming, please.
Right now, my special should drop. Talking to Dave Chappelle and his people at Netflix. We should drop it in February. It's called Legendary. Produced by Dave Chappelle. You can hear me on Sirius XM Channel 96 on Kevin Hart's Loud Radio, Quake's House. Monday through Friday, we do it called Quake House. I bring four comedians and we talk about different different topics, and we elaborate it from a comedian point. I'm on this HBO show called The Lakers. It's about Magic Johnson when he first got drafted by the Lakers, came to LA. I play his father's best friend. I'm also on this show called The Johnsons with me, DL, and the rest of it. And I'm developing my own TV show for CBS right now. And God is great, man.
Man, congratulations on your soulmate. Congratulations on everything that you earned. I think it's so important that people understand that how I know Quake is because when I needed some support to raise some money for kids, he said very simply, if you need anything, I'll be there. And true to his word, he came through for us. And I have been a fan from before we met, and the work that you do keeps us sane, brother. I was having a rough night before. I get to be, Quake and I were talking, I get to be a father in real time. So I get to deal with the same stuff that y'all are dealing with. And just like Quake did tonight, he does so many nights and has done for so many, literally millions of people. So, brother, I want to thank you sincerely for all that you do and who you are, and the gift that you use to make sure that we all feel better about ourselves. Enjoy Vegas, my man. Enjoy your beautiful, beautiful fiance.
Yes. Just ain't got the
Fiance.
ring yet. I got to make.
Okay.
You got to get it all together.
I got you, brother.
You can't announce this just right. You got to get it.
Copy
all.
that. I got the. I got the look. The painting started it all. The painting started it all. The painting started it all.
Started off.
All right, my man. Thank you so much.
But before I go, man,
Please,
I want to say thank you, man. You are the reason I do it, because you raise our kids. You give them what I wanted from an educator. And when I seen everything you did, from what you were Puffy and everything, the school, man, anytime, any place, man, you got my 100% support, because you're the reason why we're going to get where we need to be, because of brothers like you. And it's good to know, have you on my Rolodex that I got a doctor as a friend.
Well, there you go. just until you need some ointment, you're going to need to call on a different one. But I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for all that you do. Congratulations on everything that you've earned, because you work so hard for it. So thank you so much, folks. I think we thank you for joining us this evening. I can't tell you how much it means to me to have the opportunity to meet brothers like Quake. He represents something that's so special inside of our community, and authenticity, unlike any that you get to see. Who you see on this screen is who I get to meet. When he and I talk, we talk about how we can move our community forward. He understands that we as a community can't make it unless we act as a community. He takes the time out to put his talents where his mouth is. I meet a lot of people, and I'm very, very fortunate in that sense. But what to me is important is that you know that there are people who you see, like Quake, who are truly about that life, who genuinely want to make the world a better place. So I thank you again for joining me. I hope you had fun. I know I did. I also want you to keep in mind as you go through the holidays to try to keep the controversial topics on a minimum. Enjoy your time with your family. Time is fleeting. Keep in mind that I believe that the truth is that there are no dumb questions. There are only dumb answers. And the smartest person in the room is the one with the best questions. Thank you so much. Enjoy yourselves. Y'all take it easy.